Hi everyone, in today's video we are going to be exploring what schizotypal personality disorder is and how it's different from schizophrenia. Schizotypal personality disorder can sometimes be confused with a mild form of schizophrenia. I mean, they sound similar, right? However, they are different disorders. We will get into more of the specifics of how they differ in this video, as well as what the defining characteristics of schizotypal personality disorder are. A good place to start in terms of understanding the difference between schizophrenia and schizotypal personality disorder is the personality disorder label. The American Psychiatric Association, from the DSM-5, has this to say about personality and personality disorders. Personality is the way of thinking, feeling, and behaving that makes a person different from other people. An individual's personality is influenced by experiences, environment, so surroundings, life situations, and inherited characteristics. A person's personality typically stays the same over time. A personality disorder is a way of thinking, feeling, and behaving that deviates from the expectations of the culture, causing distress or problems functioning and lasting over time. So, a personality disorder mainly has to do with a person's personality causing them distress or difficulty functioning in our culture. You can compare this to a psychosis spectrum illness, which is mainly a neurological disorder where your brain doesn't function as it typically would. Interestingly, the ICD-10, which is what most of Europe and Australia use, classifies schizotypal as a schizophrenia spectrum illness. But the DSM-5, the big book psychiatrists use here in North America, classifies schizotypal as a personality disorder. So there's likely a bit of overlap between schizotypal and schizophrenia. People diagnosed with schizotypal personality disorder are often described as odd or eccentric, with cognitive or perceptual distortions and eccentricities of behavior, and usually struggle with maintaining close relationships. They generally experience discomfort with and reduced capacity for these close relationships. They tend to hold peculiar beliefs and may have difficulties responding appropriately to social cues. Now, I'm going to get into the diagnostic criteria for schizotypal personality disorder, what can cause it, and prevalence, but before I do that, I want to thank Fabulous for sponsoring this video. Fabulous is the #1 self-care app to help you build better habits and achieve your goals. The Fabulous app is a digital coach that uses insights from behavioral science to develop great habits that will enable you to live the life you want. You'll learn to create rituals that propel you towards your goals and participate in challenges that will build motivation and awareness along the way. Remembering to take my medications at the right time and developing a regular sleep schedule were two things that I identified I wanted to work on with the Fabulous app. This was possible to do through their habit tracking approach. You can pick from more than 100 recommended habits like these or create your own. The app also offers dedicated programs, or journeys as they call them. Once you identify which well-being goals you want to achieve, the app uses behavior change programs designed specifically to help you achieve them. You receive regular motivation and encouragement to stick to the journey you are on, and each week you commit to positive action for that week. The app helps you stay on task with gentle nudges to keep up with your daily routines. With Fabulous Premium, you can build and improve an unlimited number of habits into your routines and take part in all programs and exercises. It's 100% personalized based on behavioral science, and you can go at whatever pace feels best for you. It's a beautifully designed app that I found to be really helpful with being more mindful about the habits I want to create for myself. Start building your ideal daily routine. The first 100 people who click on the link will get 25% off a Fabulous subscription. Okay, now let's get into the diagnostic criteria for schizotypal personality disorder. So the diagnostic criteria in the DSM-5, remember that's the big book psychiatrists use in North America, is 5 or more of the following. So #1, ideas of reference. This refers to the ideas a person holds about innocuous or coincidental things happening and attributing it to having personal significance. There is also something known as delusions of reference. The difference between ideas of reference and delusions of reference is that delusions are held with greater conviction. So, for example, a common thought people may have is that in a social situation, other people might be talking about you behind your back. A person with ideas of reference might have a feeling that people are talking about them, but when challenged on it, can acknowledge that the others may be talking about something else. Whereas a person with delusions of reference would not be able to accept that people were talking about anything else except for them. So a diagnostic criteria for schizotypal personality disorder is ideas of reference, but not delusions of reference. #2 is odd beliefs or magical thinking that influences behavior and is not a result of cultural norms or beliefs. For example, believing that you could control the outcome of dice in a board game, or having a fear of odd numbers. It can include any superstitious belief that is not rooted in the person's culture. Number 3 is unusual perceptual experiences. For example, feeling like there is a presence in the room with you, even though nothing is there, or feeling like you're floating. Number 4 is odd thinking and speech. For example, vague, circumstantial, metaphorical, over-elaborate, or stereotyped thinking. Number 5 is suspiciousness or paranoid ideation. For example, thinking people have ulterior motives when talking with you, or believing that you are being followed. Number 6 is inappropriate or constricted affect, which essentially means not expressing appropriate mood or emotion. For example, when others around you are reacting with joy to something, you might not feel anything, or you might feel something seemingly inappropriate, such as sadness or anger. Number 7 is behavior or appearance that is deemed odd, eccentric, or peculiar in some way. For example, unusual body language or a difficulty with eye contact. Number 8 is a lack of close friends and relationships apart from first-degree relatives. Number 9 is excessive social anxiety, even with those you're familiar with, which tends to stem from paranoid fears. So according to the DSM-5, schizotypal personality disorder also should not be diagnosed if it occurs during the course of schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, or depressive disorder with psychotic features, or any psychotic disorder or autism spectrum disorder. So this just means that you wouldn't be diagnosed with both of them at the same time. You could, however, be diagnosed with schizotypal first and then schizophrenia, but the diagnosis for schizotypal would be changed to premorbid schizotypal personality disorder. Now, as I mentioned, it can be easy to confuse schizotypal personality disorder with schizophrenia. After all, a lot of the diagnostic criteria seem similar with what a person with schizophrenia experiences. But there are some important distinctions. For starters, people with schizotypal personality disorder generally don't experience psychotic episodes. They may experience very brief psychotic episodes of delusions and hallucinations, but if they do occur, the episodes are not as frequent, not as prolonged, and not as intense as with schizophrenia. Another distinction is that people with schizotypal can generally have a level of awareness that their distorted ideas are not grounded in reality. It is much harder for a person with schizophrenia to develop this awareness, and they generally can't be swayed from their delusional thinking. Despite these differences, people living with schizotypal personality disorder can still benefit from some of the same treatments used to treat schizophrenia. This can include things like therapy, medication, which is typically for co-occurring mental health problems, and lifestyle management. So what causes schizotypal personality disorder? Genetics can play a big role. Schizotypal personality disorder tends to be more common in first-degree biological relatives of people living with schizophrenia and typically develops in early adulthood, but early signs can be seen during childhood. Unfortunately, these kids may attract teasing or bullying as their behaviors and mannerisms may be seen as odd or eccentric. As with everyone's personality, we are also shaped by our environment. Reactions to life events, your surroundings, and relationships all likely play contributing roles in how a person's personality develops during childhood and adolescence. It's not yet certain what exactly happens during this process for someone to develop schizotypal personality disorder. Cultural differences also seem to have an impact on the noted prevalence of schizotypal personality disorder. For example, studies from Norway report 0.6% prevalence, while studies from the United States report 4.6%. But it has been generally found to be more prevalent in males. Very often, people are diagnosed with schizotypal personality disorder because they are seeking help for a different problem, such as anxiety or depression. Or friends or family members may notice symptoms and urge them to see a doctor. The doctor will likely recommend you see a psychiatrist or psychologist who may use special interview and assessment tools to diagnose personality disorders. People with schizotypal personality disorder are often at an increased risk for other issues as well, such as depression, anxiety, isolation, developing schizophrenia, temporary psychotic episodes, other personality disorders, issues with alcohol or drugs, suicide attempts, and issues at work, school, or in relationships. Outlooks for people living with schizotypal personality disorder can vary based on the severity of the symptoms and how much it affects their daily living and functionality. Often, those who are motivated to follow through with treatment, particularly therapy and lifestyle management, have better outcomes. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful in better understanding what schizotypal personality disorder entails and how it's different from schizophrenia. If you'd like to see more videos from us, make sure to subscribe. And if you would like to help support us in creating this content and also gain access to our online peer support community, please check out the link to our Patreon in the description below. Thanks so much again for watching, and as always, wishing you and your loved ones good health. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.